Is Malik Beasley dropping hints that he's coming back to the Pistons? What up, though, Pistons fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Downtown Dew Show. This offseason has been very uneventful up to this point, outside of the news surrounding Malik Beasley. And you guys know, I'm only going to make videos if it's something tangible that I think you'll be interested in. And with that, we have some Malik Beasley news, or shall I say, clues. So for those of you who may not know by this point, Malik Beasley is currently an unrestricted free agent. Now, we do know that the NBA is currently doing their own investigation, and we'll have to wait and see what comes of that. But Beasley has openly and consistently maintained confidence that he'll be cleared and be able to continue his NBA career. And though he's technically a free agent right now, you wouldn't know about what he's been posting on social media. And that takes us to our first point. This entire offseason, Beasley has been repping one team and one team only, the Pistons, including this dope shirt created by the family at Culture Detroit. Shout out to Zell. So this alone can lead one to think that he at least has the Pistons as a potential team that he's interested in. He wouldn't be rocking and posting content to social media, drawing speculation if there was no interest. The past week, Beasley has been dropping breadcrumbs on the social media regarding which team he will sign with this offseason. A couple of days ago, he posted this to his Instagram, and I quote, "Step into my world, where we don't listen to the outside noise, where we don't quit, where we live to the fullest, not giving a F about anything that's not important to us. Year 10 approaching, probably the most interesting one of them all. And the goal remains the same. Be better than last year. My decision is near." So if you've been keeping up with Bees at all this offseason, you can tell that he is fueled by these allegations. He seems to have a huge chip on his shoulder, and he's really motivated to have another strong year next season. Now, regarding his decision being near, here's where things get interesting. We know that he plans to make a decision soon, but the last few days have come with lots of speculation about what that decision is going to be. Now, initially, when he was cleared of all allegations, reportedly teams like the Knicks tried to pounce on him. And Beasley did have some moments against the Knicks in the playoffs last year. Good moments and bad moments, right? Including the ball bouncing off his hands out of bounds on the last play of the series, but also knocking down buzzer beater three-pointers to end the half. But after a couple of days, the Knicks moved on. Perhaps they knew Beasley had no intention of signing with them, especially since the Knicks really couldn't offer him anything that the Pistons couldn't. So which teams could, though, offer Beasley something the Pistons can't? Which includes more money, obviously, and a chance to be a contending team in April, May, and possibly June. Keith Smith of Spotrac and the Front Office Show tweeted this list of teams who can offer more than the $7.2 million the Pistons can offer. His tweet reads, "Here are the teams that could offer Malik Beasley more than the $7.2 million Detroit can offer using his non-bird rights. The Brooklyn Nets can offer him the most, $15 million in cap space. The rest of the teams can offer their non-taxpayer mid-level exception, and that includes the Charlotte Hornets at $14.1 million, the Chicago Bulls also at $14.1 million, the Indiana Pacers at $13.5 million, the Miami Heat at $7.3 million, the OKC Thunder at $8.5 million, the Sacramento Kings at $7.3 million, the Washington Wizards at $14.1 million. Golden State could get involved, but their situation is complicated by Jonathan Kuminga's restricted free agent status and multiple open roster spots. So for those wondering, the $7.2 million is the max the Pistons can currently offer. They've already used their non-taxpayer mid-level exception, or NTMLE, but they still hold Beasley's non-bird rights as an unrestricted free agent. Of the 9 teams listed here, only the Heat, Thunder, and maybe the Warriors can offer Beasley a possibility of contending for a championship next year. If Beasley is interested in winning, he wouldn't consider the Nets, Hornets, Bulls, Pacers, Kings, or Wizards. Understandably so, especially for Beasley in this situation particularly, money is a factor. But you could argue that the off-court circumstances are just as important, and that favors the Pistons. Which brings us to our next point. Malik is back living in Detroit. It was reported that Beasley has not only paid off his debt that was owed on his home in downtown Detroit, but actually moved back into his apartment. This is important. Here's why. Let's just say Beasley wanted to sign with the Heat, for example. He would literally only be home in Detroit during the offseason. During the season, he'd be either in a different city, on the road, or at home in a temporary residence in Miami when they played home games. It would just make much more sense for him to get a place in the city where he planned on playing. And the fact that he's back in Detroit, working on and improving his finances, things of that nature, those things don't happen overnight. They take time. And I can see the Pistons doing what they can to help him in that department. So him being back in Michigan, in Detroit, is a big deal. The next point kind of goes hand in hand with the last one. Bees loves Detroit. Not just the team, but the city. His mom actually grew up here on the west side of Detroit, and Malik is very familiar with the area. His mom used to bring him to Detroit every summer to visit friends and family. And earlier last season, he actually called Detroit his second home. And throughout this whole process, despite the Pistons signing Karis LeVert and Duncan Robinson, despite the media swirl surrounding him, the Pistons still kept a roster spot open. Now, I can't say definitively that it was for him, but I wouldn't at all be surprised, especially considering the Pistons had a 3-year, $42 million on the table waiting for him prior to the gambling accusations. And with him saying that he's going to make his decision soon, I actually think the decision may already be made and that he's just waiting to announce it. Because once again, I think the place he plans to live goes hand in hand with the city he plans to play for. And with him living back in his apartment, I just couldn't see him moving back to Detroit only to play and live somewhere else the entire season. And here's the last point, and definitely not the least. Beasley was recently spotted in Rome with Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren. We know Bees has been vacationing there, and Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren went to go visit him. Now, could they all just be enjoying the offseason? Sure. But with everything going on right now, I just don't see two of the Pistons' cornerstones spending offseason time with Beasley publicly at this point in the offseason, especially if Beasley had no intention to be with the team next season. Optics are important. By the way, JD is listed officially at 6'10". But look at this picture. He looks 4 or 5 inches taller than Cade in this picture to me. And Cody Davis, who was a Pistons beat writer and reporter for the Detroit News, actually said that during Summer League, he was standing close to JD and he looks to have grown. JD is a man-child. He already has a grown man body at the ripe old age of 21. So if he's had another growth spurt and he's now maybe 6'11" or 7 feet, Trajan Langdon needs to sign his man to an extension immediately. Okay, so let's recap. Malik Beasley has been repping the Pistons only in the offseason. He has moved back to Detroit. Few teams can provide a better situation for him as far as circumstance, monetarily, and basketball-wise. He's in a familiar environment, both on and off the court, with family ties in Detroit, and he's spending time with two of the Pistons' cornerstones, in Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren, in the offseason, publicly. Maybe I'm tripping, but to me, all signs point to Bees wearing the red, white, and blue once again next year. I could be wrong, and if I am, I'll be the first to admit it. But this will be a lot of smoke and mirrors just to go play somewhere else. But just going off the variables that are currently in play, at least that we can see, I think he'll be back. And if he does return, we are going to have a lot to talk about regarding expectations for this team next season and the Pistons' chances of potentially making a move before the trade deadline going way up. This upcoming season could potentially be even more fun than last season was. But we'll table that for now until if and or when it actually happens. But what do you guys think? Based off recent events, do you think all signs point to Beasley returning to Detroit? Or will he shock everyone and sign elsewhere? Holla at me in the comments and let's talk about it. Side note, your boy's got some new Pistons music on the way very soon, so stay tuned for that. If you like Dog Pound, then I think you're going to like what I'm currently cooking up. And if you haven't heard Dog Pound yet, stick around for another 5 seconds for the outro. And until next time, y'all know what it is. Detroit versus everybody. Peace.
All the dirty work, all dog. I'ma dive on the floor, go try to block every shot. And I'ma be physical with you the whole game. You know Stu gonna be physical with you. When you think of the Pistons, you think it's just hard work and just gritty basketball. That's just the identity you gotta have when you put on that jersey.
I'm not your average breed of canine. Not a good dog, I'm bad boy for life. I set the tone, don't care about no tick. Let it be known, I get my respect. Come in the lane and see I don't bluff. If you retaliate, that's on ya. Talking pundits, I hear you're ashamed. Talking that shop, you must want this way. Tryna tell ya, put the dog palm, mess around, find out, put the dog palm, mess around, find out, For some barbecue sauce, boy, you better crop a hill, cause I'm like that. When you're ready for some barbecue sauce, boy, you better crop a hill, cause I'm like that.